Happening now, up to 250 jobs are expected in the town of Ellicott from a new battery production plant. And we're breaking down the push to improve resources for the city police department in hopes of combating crime. Plus, the plan for trick-or-treaters here in Jamestown, it's now been finalized.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up. But first, a battery production plant is slated to bring up to 250 jobs to southern Chautauqua County. Governor Kathy Hochul announced that news yesterday that Electrovia Inc., a producer of lithium-ion batteries for transportation and utility storage, is opening its first U.S. plant as part of an expansion in the town of Ellicott. The company will set up operations at One Precision Way in an effort to tap into the robust lithium-ion battery demand for e-forklifts, e-trucks, and e-buses. This comes as good news to local leaders.
The electricity and utilities will actually be coming from the BPU. So certainly not only will it employ residents here in the city, but we'll be utilizing city utilities.
Empire State Development is assisting the project with up to $4 million through the performance-based Excelsior Jobs Tax Credit Program and $2.5 million in regional council capital funding to establish this new facility. A 39-year-old Dunkirk man will serve up to 7 years in state prison after he was sentenced in connection with a residential burglary on Monday. In November 2021, Thomas Feninsky was accused of breaking into an apartment in the city of Dunkirk and stealing property worth over $3,000. Following prosecution by Chautauqua County District Attorney Jason Schmidt, the suspect was sentenced to an intermediate term in prison on a felony burglary charge. Feninsky is required to serve a minimum of 3.5 years to a maximum of 7 years behind bars. The conviction, the DA says, is the result of a plea by the defendant. And a 31-year-old woman was allegedly busted with fentanyl while incarcerated at the Chautauqua County Jail. Back on September 17th, correction officers say they allegedly found Carly Hollett to be in possession of the drug. Following an investigation by the sheriff's narcotics team, Hollett was charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance and promoting prison contraband. Now, as of today, she remains in custody at the jail without bail. Hollett was first booked into that facility back in May of 2022. Lawmakers in Jamestown are now restructuring how their American Rescue Plan Act funding is spent and possibly looking to improve resources for the police department in hopes of combating crime. Our Bronson Rasmussen joining us live in the newsroom today with more on what's proposed here. Bronson?
Justin, last month residents spoke out about the rise in crime locally and called on officials to do more, including providing more funding for Jamestown police. On Monday, Jamestown City Council shifted focus from various housing, business, and nonprofit programs to table $4 million. While a definite plan for the money was not agreed upon, City Council members laid out their ideas.
Are we missing the boat on gun violence and on public safety, on issues that are extremely COVID related that we're just continuing to divest into offshoots of programs? I mean, the SWAT man is a prime example. We said no initially, and now look at gun violence. Should we be revisiting that before the dollar's gone?
Previous plans to purchase a SWAT armored vehicle came up as well, a proposal initially turned down, but now, with rising crime rates, ARPA funding could be used to reignite the initiative.
It's been brought up with the past administration about purchasing a Bearcat, and it was always about funding. There's somewhere between $250,000 to $275,000. Chief, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So it was always a funding issue with not being able to buy that.
At the current expenditure rate, some feel the city will soon have no ARPA monies left.
We're going to eventually run out of funds here quickly, as all of us can see. So if we keep modifying program after program to touch all the needs, is there another way to look at things to make sure that things are covered, I guess? I just don't want to get in the habit of saying, oh, we missed this group, oh, we missed this group, oh, we missed this group, and we're going to now open it up again, and we're just gonna compound every time.
If the city of Jamestown went forward with all of the programs that were presented to them, officials would be left with just over $4 million in unassigned monies of the original $28 million the city was allocated under the American Rescue Plan Act. Reporting live in the studio, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. A National Little League tournament now returning to the city of Jamestown. It was announced on Monday the Babe Ruth World Series will return to our area next year. From across the nation, ranging from 13-year-olds to 15-year-olds, will compete at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park from August 12th through the 19th, 2023. This is the 19th time the World Series will be held here in Jamestown since 1980. In summer of 2021, the area was formally recognized for their decades-long history supporting the sport. Jamestown is among 200 individuals and organizations who have been inducted into the Babe Ruth International Hall of Fame. Well, Halloween is less than a month away, and lawmakers in Jamestown have finalized times for trick-or-treaters. Traditionally, the time for Halloween trick-or-treating within city limits is from 6 to 8. This year, the Public Safety Committee considered different hours for the spooky night. Some on the council and Jamestown Police Chief Tim Jackson recommended earlier trick-or-treating hours through 7 o'clock, 5 to 7 o'clock. When brought up to the full city council, a midway point was discussed from 5:30 through 7:30. While some of the council agreed with the plan, others they saw flaws in the earlier time.
What I brought up wasn't a matter of turning your mind and participating. It was being a working parent, getting home at 5 o'clock.
Only getting the kids out.
And getting your
Kid out the door.
Your kid in their costume and getting ready and getting out there. And I would like to see it 6 to 8.
Ultimately, the council decided to keep that hours from 6 to 8 on Halloween. Well, now let's switch gears and get a first check of our weather forecast. Andrew Stevenson standing in for Dakota again today. And Andrew, it's definitely feeling like it could be Halloween out there. The leaves are changing. The wind was a little blowy yesterday and definitely a lot cooler. I had to clean off some frost this morning.
I don't know about you, but I can't believe Halloween is like a few weeks away and there's only 2 months left in the year. I'm pretty sure it's still 2015 out there somewhere, but I don't know. Live look over Randolph, and we have some clouds moving in. Mostly cloudy skies for the Randolph Peaches and Cream Sky camera. And there is some clouds and some rain showers moving across eastern portions of the area. Now those clouds and a few showers are from what was left of Hurricane Ian, announced as a low pressure system spinning off the Atlantic coast, and it's going to spin some clouds and maybe an isolated shower through the afternoon out there today. But yesterday we reached a high of 55 degrees, the low was 38 degrees. The record high was 85, set back in 1951. The record low was 20 set back in 1985. So for the rest of the afternoon out there today, partly to mostly cloudy skies, maybe an isolated shower will work its way into western New York, but looks like most of the rain will stay on to the east of the area. We'll go for a high of upper 50s at the hilltops to lower 60s at the lower elevations. Now we have a cold front at the end of the week that's going to bring in some chilly weather, and I'll tell you about that coming up in just a few minutes in the full weather. Justin.
All right, Andrew, we look forward to that. Thank you, sir. As we continue this half hour, we're hearing from New York families about what changes they think need to be made to the Complete Streets Act. But first, the warning from local police about a new donation scam that's calling many people across the state. Stay with us. WNY News Now will be back after this.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
New York State Police are warning the public about a donation scam and have issued an alert. The alert reminding that state police won't solicit money by the phone. Someone from a 607 area code has been contacting individuals asking for donations. State police say if you receive one of these calls, don't give out your personal info and hang up immediately. New York's Assembly Transportation Committee, they heard testimonies from witnesses Monday about making modifications to the Complete Streets Act. Our Albany Capitol correspondent spoke to families who traveled hundreds of miles to testify about what changes they think need to be made.
13-year-old Andrew Aladi was riding his bike on his way to meet his friends when he was hit by a reckless driver in a pedestrian crosswalk on June 30th, 2019. He would have been 16 years old today. 12-year-old Sammy Cohen was crossing the street on his way to soccer practice when he was struck and killed, also by a reckless driver. Today, Sammy's mother, Amy, and Andrew's mother, Diana, advocate with the organization Families for Safe Streets. They traveled hundreds of miles to testify in front of the Transportation Committee.
Andrew's life was lost from somebody that was reckless. He was speeding. He never braked, and that's because he never saw him. We need to act now, and I'm hoping that people that can make the difference can do so.
The Complete Streets Act was enacted in 2011 and was designed to achieve a better transportation system by requiring the transportation plans of New York State to consider the needs of all roadway users, including pedestrians, bicyclists, public transportation riders, motorists, and citizens of all ages and abilities. Cohen urged lawmakers during her testimony to pass the Complete Streets maintenance bills within the Crash Victims' Rights and Safe Act. The bills would essentially authorize cities, villages, and towns to reduce the speed limit to 25 miles per hour and increase state funding for complete street design features. Those features can vary from painted pedestrian crosswalks and bike lanes to updating maintenance for roads and sidewalks.
Roads have to be designed in a way that urge people to drive the speed limit, to drive safely, to pay attention.
This Saturday marks the 9-year anniversary of Sammy's death. During her testimony today, Cohen urged lawmakers to remember and consider her story and the many other families in New York who have lost someone to reckless driving. In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
And in an ongoing effort to fight hate crimes, Pennsylvania's governor announcing $5 million in an investment to nonprofit security grant programs. This program is administered through the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency and was signed into law by Governor Tom Wolf 1 year after the Pittsburgh Tree of Life Synagogue shooting in 2018. The $5 million will be available for nonprofits, especially in diverse communities. Reported hate crimes spiked over 200% in 2021, with 347 total crimes reported. The monthly average for reported crimes is down about 30% this year compared to last. The commission will be accepting applications from Friday, September 13th through Monday, October 31st. Awards will be announced this December. Well, the Department of Education and Higher Education Assistance Agency, they're encouraging students to complete their free application for federal student aid, commonly known as FAFSA. The FAFSA is an application required to apply for federal student aid, including grants, work study, and loans to help pay for college. A new campaign connecting high schools, counselors, financial aid officers, administrators, and more to share best practices and resources in assisting high school seniors and post-secondary students in completing their FAFSA or renewing their FAFSA for the 23-24 school year is now underway. In recent years, the FAFSA completion rate has decreased as officials hope this campaign will help get more students connected with the resources they need.
FAFSA completion has been down over the past several years, and millions of dollars have been left on the table for our Pennsylvania learners.
Officials say there are plenty of resources available with this year's state budget, providing $220 million in funding for higher education institutions. The 2023-24 FAFSA became available on October 1st. Well, coming up, it's no secret that fishermen, they have a reputation for occasionally stretching the truth. But what happened over the weekend in our region might have gone a little too far. We explain. And later, our Washington, D.C. correspondent with the latest efforts to help Florida recover from Hurricane Ian. But first, Andrew joins us once again with a full look at our weather forecast. Stay right there. WNY News Now will be back after this.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Walking from Jamestown to Orchard Park is a long trek, but when rallying for a good cause, anything is possible. I'm Patrick Smeraldo, and I need your help to get there. Starting on November 11th, I'm walking over 60 miles to the Buffalo Bills Stadium, raising money for two great causes: Harrison's Playmakers and foster care in Chautauqua County. Harrison's Playmakers is a non-profit launched by former Buffalo Bills defensive tackle Harrison Phillips to connect kids with disabilities in sports. Furthermore, donations for this 3-day hike will also benefit CASA of Chautauqua County and the Stone family, who are assisting local foster care children during National Adoption Month. Learn more about my journey and to donate at ccsolutions716.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Let's start off with the current conditions in downtown Jamestown. We are mostly cloudy skies. The high temperature at noon at the Jamestown airport was 54 degrees with a northeast wind of 12 miles per hour, giving us a wind chill of 50 degrees out there. We had some nice sunset pictures sent to us once again last night. This one was sent to us by our own Justin Gould. And we have a few more photos here on the left, as one set in by Daisy, and over here on the right, another sunset photo sent to us by Jessica. Personally, my favorite one of these two is the one on the left. If you have any weather photos, you can always send them to us on the First Defense weather page, WNY News Now. We always like to see your weather photos. So if you have some, send them in and we'll be happy to share them live on air. We had another chilly morning out there this morning. 30 degrees was the low temperature in both Allegheny State Park and in Cattaraugus. Clymer 31, and we just go up at 1 degree in the rest of the way. Dunkirk at 32, Olean at 33, and Jamestown bottom out at 34 degrees. Here is what's going on across the northeast here. We have the remnant of what was Hurricane, which is now just a low pressure system off the Atlantic coast, that's spitting some rain showers and a few clouds back into western New York and Pennsylvania through this afternoon. And Future Scan will time it as we go through the rest of the afternoon here. It shows those clouds and maybe a few rain showers. I kind of think it's overdoing it on the rain showers. You may see an isolated rain shower if possible, but again, most of those rain showers will stay off to our east. As we head into the night, the remnants will move off the Atlantic coast with partly cloudy skies through the rest of the night and into tomorrow, and partly cloudy skies will take us through the rest of tomorrow afternoon, into tomorrow night, and into early Thursday, but a cold front will begin to approach the area Thursday night, and that's going to increase the clouds through the day on Thursday. So for, again, the rest of the afternoon, partly to mostly cloudy skies out there. Again, isolated shower possible. Upper 50s on the hilltops to lower 60s at the lower elevations. For tonight, partly cloudy skies. Once again, there will be some patchy frost possible inland from the lakes. Cool in the valleys, 34 degrees at the low of the valleys to upper 40s at the lake shore. So that's why we have the frost possible while inland. Next 7 days, Ultimate Satellite Solutions. Partial sunshine tomorrow. We will get to the upper 60s. Some areas may break 70 tomorrow. Thursday, the clouds will be increasing throughout the day as that cold front approaches, but still should be warm in the upper 60s on Thursday. That cold front brings in some showers for Friday and Saturday, and chillier temperatures once again Friday night into early Saturday morning. The hilltops may see some wet snow mixed in with those showers, but high pressure will build in by the end of the week, bringing the return of drier weather and temperatures back close to 60 by early next week, Justin.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. I'm pretty sure those are, the first probably flakes of the season out there. Definitely gonna that roller coaster of fall. Well, let's get some headlines from around the nation, and it's no secret that fishermen, they have a reputation for occasionally stretching the truth when it comes to their hobby, but this big fish story is a bit different, especially when prizes are on the line. It all happened over the weekend in Cleveland at the Lake Erie Walleye Trail Fishing Tournament. Two fishermen turned in their catch, but when one of their walleye was cut open to check, the apparent champs were the ones who were caught with weights inside the fish. So Jake Ryun and Chase Kaminsky had their prizes taken away. Some footage showed a crowd gathering around the contestants, accusing them of cheating in previous tournaments as well, threatening to call the cops, saying that the two men had essentially stolen thousands of dollars from other competitors. Tournament organizers apologized for this scandal. It's unclear if they'd face any formal police charges here. Nevertheless, not very good sportsmanship. Well, President Joe Biden, he's hailing Puerto Rico's resilience following Hurricane Fiona. He and First Lady Jill Biden visited the U.S. territory on Monday. The president has announced a $60 million investment for coastal areas. It would shore up levees and flooded walls to help fund a new flood warning system, helping residents better prepare for future storms. Biden says when the next hurricane hits Puerto Rico, we'll be ready.
We know that the climate crisis and more extreme weather are going to continue to hit this island and hit the United States overall. And as we rebuild, we have to ensure that we build it to last.
The Ponce region of Puerto Rico was significantly damaged by Fiona back on September 18th. As on Sunday evening, 86% of residents there have power again. Meanwhile, Biden now heading to Florida on Wednesday to survey damage from Hurricane Ian. And speaking of Florida officials, they're still trying to assess the damage Hurricane Ian has done to the Sunshine State. Florida now reporting about 100 people have died due to the storm, and that number continues to climb. And of course, hundreds of thousands of Floridians are still impacted by last week's storm. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp explains FEMA's recovery efforts.
Federal officials say there's an unprecedented amount of help going to Florida. In a recent spending bill Congress just signed off on, it will help FEMA and FEMA programs like the National Flood Insurance Program to have more flexibility in helping with the recovery efforts, making sure people can get money to help rebuild their homes and businesses. Right now, FEMA says state and federal search and rescue operations are prioritizing hospitals, healthcare facilities, and barrier island communities. They say more than 100 FEMA disaster survivor assistance team staff are working in the hardest hit communities to help survivors apply for assistance and look for other immediate and emerging threats. FEMA recently announced more than 2,700 people have been rescued, as well as 150 pets. They add that 75% of the power outages have been restored, but you can see video of how, even though the storm hit about a week ago, the aftermath is causing a lot of problems. In an email, New York Representative Joe Sempolinski told me in part he and his House colleagues are in conversations about aid to those affected by Hurricane Ian, and says that we must work to help those devastated by this horrible and tragic event. He also adds the entire country stands with them in their time of need. It's unclear if additional financial resources will be headed to Florida, but officials say they're focusing on what's available at the moment. At the Capitol, Rachel Knapp reporting.
All right, Rachel, thank you very much. Coming up next, new survey finding Americans still planning some fall travel despite higher costs due to inflation. We're breaking down the fall travel outlook when we come back.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Walking from Jamestown to Orchard Park is a long trek, but when rallying for a good cause, anything is possible. Starting on November 11th, I'm walking over 60 miles to the Buffalo Bills Stadium, raising money for two great causes, Harrison's Playmakers and foster care in Chautauqua County. Learn more about my journey and to donate at ccsolutions716.com.
Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
The fall travel season is in full swing, and a new survey finds soaring inflation and recession fears, they're not disrupting travel plans for families. It comes as the industry recovering from disruptions from Hurricane Ian and a chaotic summer travel surge. In today's Consumer Watch, a look at what you can expect if you plan to maybe hit the skies or take to the road this fall.
Autumn is here, and the travel industry is hoping to soar past cancellations and delays caused by Hurricane Ian and the chaos of a summer surge as it prepares for a busy fall season amid soaring inflation and recession fears.
With a lot of now pent-up travel demand, there's some wonder that maybe this time will be a little bit different.
A new survey finds Americans are still making fall travel plans despite higher costs. According to the latest quarterly State of the American Traveler report, close to 2/3 of surveyed American travelers still plan to go on at least one overnight trip in the next 3 months. And for those traveling by car, gas prices are creeping up, a trend that started before Hurricane Ian disrupted some oil production in the Gulf of Mexico, though the main facilities were not directly hit. Nationwide on Monday, the average price for a gallon of regular gas was nearly $3.80. That's up from the recent low of $3.67, according to AAA. But that's not keeping some drivers off the road.
Is it going to change as much as I drive? Probably not.
It comes as the travel industry braces for a potential airline merger between Spirit and JetBlue, with some travel experts warning it could lead to less competition and give consumers fewer options.
So even if you never fly Spirit, you may face higher fares if they no longer are an airline that's competing with the Deltas and the Americans of the world.
If you're planning a trip this fall, experts recommend you book flights early, be flexible with your plans, and consider international options. For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. And that's the thing, Andrew. It's like a lot of families may be kind of juggling that, whether they want to travel. So a lot of people travel for Thanksgiving, so maybe they're trying to save for that. But even here locally, there's still a lot of stuff you can do. You got the haunted houses I think are now opening up. You got the Pumpkin Town out there in Lakewood. And even if you just walk around your neighborhood, you could probably enjoy fall, because it seems like everywhere I look, there's a new tree that's now orange or yellow. It's pretty awesome out there.
I think when COVID shutting everything down in 2020 and everyone was locked up in their houses, now everyone wants to get out. And I don't know if anything's going to stop everyone from getting out and traveling, because you got that cabin fever and winter's on the way. So now's a good time to get out there and travel and look at all the leaves changing.
Yeah, and the clock is ticking too. That's the thing. It's like if you're going to try to get something done outside, sooner than later we'll have snow, but still, that doesn't stop people. They go out ice fish. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff, which I think is one of the best things about Western New York, right? Is we have a lot of things going on, and we can certainly enjoy it. But well, that is going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We'll leave you with this live look over Lakeside Park in Mayville. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow, live at noon.